Kia ora, good morning. I just got woken up because I had a dream that I left some peanut butter on toast by a front door, and and then I was sitting by my Amber's hospital bed, asking her why she died so fast. And she said to me, "You don't need to worry about that." She said, "I just need you to wake up." So I woke up, um, and found some information, which I'm now making this post about. So obviously I was making an offering. The toast, I was leaving an offering for Amber, and yeah, she came to me. She told me to wake up. So before I went to sleep, something really interesting happened. An Irish newspaper called The Ditch used a password from an unredacted Epstein email or something, and used it to found out that a courier company had made a delivery in Georgia and Florida, in connection to a Gulfstream aeroplane that was connected to Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump. It was a plane that was used in Donald Trump's campaign or something. Um, and I remember when I'd done the Bella One investigation, the I had found out that it was Miss Venezuela who won Miss Universe. Her husband bought one of Epstein's Gulfstream planes. And remember the whole Maduro Bella One thing? So it was Miss Venezuela and her husband who bought this Gulfstream that belonged to Jeffrey Epstein. The interesting thing is that the woman mentioned Jeffrey Epstein's assistant, her name is Bella. And remember they did that whole kidnapping 170 kids off the coast here of the UK, and they had help from Norway, France, Germany, Iceland and Ukraine to do it. And then the whole Jeffrey Epstein list came out, and it turns out that Norway, France, Germany, Ukraine, all the countries involved that pulled off the Bella One heist are all on the Epstein list. Like people in Norway, royal family, politicians, they're dropping like flies in Norway, and Norway were big on that, on what happened with the Bella One. And I remembered I just hadn't made it public because I didn't. Everything drops when it's meant to, but it's just when I read the article last night with this Irish newspaper called The Ditch, and do you remember in my rom-com Becoming Spellbound, where's Sam from? Where is the movie based? Ireland. And it was an Irish newspaper that exposed this whole Gulfstream Jeffrey Epstein aeroplane and its connection to Donald Trump. But when I was doing my investigation into the Bella One, I saw that the person who bought this Gulfstream plane, I don't know if it's the one they're talking about, but it rung a bell with me that Miss Universe's husband bought one of Jeffrey Epstein's private Gulfstream planes. And who used to own the Miss Universe pageant? Donald Trump. So it's all connected. So I posted it last night before I went to sleep, and I'll post it again, but it is all there. So I was right about the Bella one and what they pulled off and the Maduro thing, because that was Venezuela and it was Miss Universe, Miss Venezuela, Miss Universe. So I was right. And it's just very interesting that Epstein's assistant's name was Bella and it was called the Bella One. And Bella means beautiful in Italian. So then in other news, Amber told me to wake up. She was dead. In the dream, she was dead, but she was resurrected. And I was sitting by her hospital bed. And I said to her, "Why did you die so fast?" And she goes, "You don't need to worry about that. I just need you to wake up." And then I woke up and checked social media and saw that DP World are in financial trouble. Remember DP World, the shipping company? I've been going on about them for the longest. Because of the Sultan's connection to Epstein. And why is this important? Because they fund Donald Trump's golf tournament in Aberdeen, and Keir Starmer gave them £1 billion. Remember, I put it all over my social media. Canada and the UK have pulled out of all financial investments, and who was it that got me onto the investigation into DP World? Canada, because I saw military veterans talking about Evergreen Line, and when I started looking into it, and then I realised that Evergreen Line's connection to Hillary Clinton was the same as Keir Starmer's connection to DP World, because he gave them that £1 billion. It then put me onto DP World and the connections I started finding with DP World, and all the coalition of the willing are signed up to DP World, including New Zealand. All the coalition of Epstein, as I call them, all the countries that are part of the coalition of Epsteiners are all connected to, all have ports with DP World, including New Zealand. So now Keir Starmer at the UK and Canada distancing themselves and cutting off financial ties because the Sultan's connected to Epstein will be because they're connected to the shipping line for trafficking kids. And they can try and hide it all they like, but I've already exposed those two countries. I've already exposed them. I did the expose weeks ago. It's all there on my social media. So I was right about DP World as well. Now what the King needs to do is he needs to find out if DP World was in the Greater Manchester area at the time that they pulled off that Bella One heist, because that was a smoke and mirrors thing. There was something going on in the docks of Greater Manchester, and it would be really interesting to see whether DP World happened to have shipping containers there. Because remember, I found out that 170 kids were taken during that whole Venezuela Bella One thing. And that was just before the Davos meeting. Which is why when I move to Switzerland, when they have the Davos meetings, I'm going to have to shut the school down for the time that they're there and double down on security. But because I don't know whether those 170 kids were taken for the Davos thing, or because the thing is, there isn't a single country in the world that doesn't traffic kids. And it just so happens that Western Europe are the biggest proliferators of it. So, yeah, so the plane, the Ireland, and because remember when I was doing my Pegasus investigation into the plague thing, and Donald Trump dropped that Q post about taking out the Queen to get to the King and using the board of public opinion. And then, of course, this whole Epstein thing's happened, and this whole thing with Prince Andrew, and now they're saying that the Queen's a lizard and blah blah blah. Everything I said they were going to do, because Trump put it in the Q thing that that's what they were going to do, that they were going to use the board of public opinion to destroy the royal family, because the Illuminati, everything they do, they put in front of your face in plain sight. They're idiots. What they're actually doing is confessing their sins to God before they commit them. So they give themselves away. But during that whole Pegasus investigation, remember I kept saying there's something to do with Trump in an aeroplane. Something from the air? Is he bringing something in on a plane? I'm just going to have a drink of water. But I kept talking about the air and Trump being involved with a plane. And the other thing you have to remember is that the Bella One was after it left Venezuela, it hung around the Caribbean. Before it was in Russia's hands, it was in the Caribbean. And where's Little St. James? Which also ties into the Cuppa Bubba tea video, the one that got my Instagram removed. Because remember that Wayne James. Now that Gulfstream plane was also connected to Jean-Luc Brunel, the guy that owns the modelling agency connected to Donald Trump. And the Cuppa Bubba tea, remember that was all to do with the JP Morgan and Chase Bank and the Virgin Islands and Wayne James and his sugar daddy club and Jean-Luc Brunel and Keir Starmer's rent boys. Donald Trump was hiding money there. I was asking the King, I wonder if if Starmer's been hiding money there. Elon Musk had money there because the Virgin Islands had subpoenaed Elon Musk in regards to bank statements and Jeffrey Epstein in the Caribbean. So I was right about everything. I was right about DP World. I was right about Trump. I was right about Starmer. I was right about Canada. I was right because now them trying to distance themselves from the whole DP World thing. But it's too late because I already exposed them. Everybody now sees everything that I've been saying. As far-fetched as it sounded, because they don't have crystal ball brain. They don't have them. They don't have access to the mind of God. I read the codes. I see codes and things. If you type it, say it, put it in a picture, like with the Project Noah's Ark thing, I read codes off it like you wouldn't believe. I kick the ass of remote viewing. So I was right about DP World, and then of course now this thing with the Gulfstream. I'll put the links up, but they were just my most recent posts. But the fact that it's Canada and the UK that are cut off ties with DP World tells you everything right there, because they were the two countries that led me to investigate the DP World in the first place. Because of those veterans, God bless them, those Canadian veterans, talking about the bodies that would take the kids' bodies and that were taken off Evergreen Line, and it was through investigating them. I connected the dots with DP World because Starmer had just given them £1 billion. And I said to the King, he's paid them to traffic kids. And now it's all come out. What was in the Jeffrey Epstein files about Keir Starmer? Him trafficking kids. Now the whole world knows that Keir Starmer makes money trafficking kids. So I was right about everything. So how cool am I? See, the thing is, if I was me, I'd want to know me. I'd be fascinated by me. Because, like, there's nobody else like me in the entire world other than my two sons. Because I'm the Holy Spirit bloodline. And Russia went their way, and the King went his way. And I'm still here standing fighting for God to protect the children and to expose everyone and whistleblow all by myself. And I'm standing stronger than ever. Because after I realised yesterday, I don't have nobody standing by my side. There isn't a single person, men especially, brave enough to stand next to me and say, I'm with her and I'm going to help her save children. When I realised I was in this on my own for real yesterday, I just rolled my sleeves up. Keep calm and stay British. I just rolled my sleeves up and got on with it. And because of that, now God said, ah. And it's just hilarious that it's an Irish newspaper that exposed the Jeffrey Epstein Gulfstream plane. And by them doing that, I was then able to go, I know who's connected with that plane. Miss Venezuela, who won Miss Universe, and her husband. So now Ireland and I, because Callaghan, of course, we've sealed the deal, so to speak. And it's just funny because in Becoming Spellbound, it's based in Ireland. And Baron Friedrich von Krumpel, who is based off Donald Trump, and Kiergor, I don't have a name for him yet, the hand Kiergor feeding the king the poison, which will be the Jeffrey Epstein conspiracy that's eating the royal family alive currently, are trying to get access to the ring of the king, of King Rupert. Now I'm wondering whether when I wrote about the Queen, the dead Queen popping up on the screen as she shouts, Rupert, asp. An asp is a reptile. And they're trying to say that with that painting with that Maria Farmer that the Queen was a reptile. And, poison. They're hammering the royal family really hard right now. In regards to Epstein, it's everything I told the King was going to happen if he didn't listen and dissolve Parliament. But it's just hilarious because remember Sam Kelly, I'm just realising, Sam Kelly is the guardian to the fairy world. And it's Baron von Krumpel wants the ring to have access to the fairy realms so that he can slip in and out of the fairy realms unseen. And he's got the Unseelie, which are like the bad fairies, on his side. And then Sam is helping the is helping the good fairies fight the bad fairies. You got the Seelie and the Unseelie. So, but now I'm just thinking, the guy John that she has to relate. You know, the guy John, the guy that comes to investigate her, and then he goes undercover as the. He was originally. He originally took a job as a woodwork teacher, and he makes her the box. Remember, he makes her like the jewelry box, the gift box thing. But then I changed it to him being a music teacher, and but he's undercover for a newspaper, and it's a newspaper that just exposed it all, an Irish newspaper. When he has that falling out with Sam and he gets banished, and everyone's like, "What did you do?" Because then all the storms hit and stuff like that. It's because the guy who owns the newspaper tells lies to John, and John believes the lies. And so he attacks Sam, like they have a big fight. And she's like, "How dare you talk to me like that? Like, how dare you treat me like, do you know who I am? Do you know I am the granddaughter of, she's going on, blah, 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 blah." And so he gets banished, and then everyone turns on him because he ruined everything. And because when Sam's happy, the fairies are happy and everyone prospers. But when Sam isn't happy, the dark clouds roll in, and then the fairies are unhappy and no one prospers. So in the town where she lives in Ireland, it's a very prosperous town. It's a seaside town, and it's a prosperous town. And everyone's happy because they know when the fairies are happy, everyone prospers because the fairies make offerings with, a good harvest and healthy cows and creamy milk. Like this village is known to have the best milk in the world. It's so creamy and rich and full of vitamins and nutrients and all of that, because when the fairies are happy, the land is happy, the animals are happy, the farmers are happy, everyone prospers. No one goes without in this village. It's a magic enchanted village. And because Sam is like the guardian to the fairy folk, when Sam's unhappy, that makes the fairies unhappy. So then everyone suffers. So when he has a go at her and, breaks her heart, then obviously she's sad and the dark clouds come in, and then the fairies are unhappy because their guardian's unhappy. So no one prospers. So everyone blames John, and they're like, "You did this, get out. Get out." And so he gets kicked out of the village, he gets kicked out of Ireland and goes back to his country. I wasn't sure, remember when I was writing it, is he going to be from London? Is he going to be from somewhere in Europe? I think I thought maybe somewhere like Germany, because remember Baron von Crumple is a German, he's a Nazi, he's a German. So I wasn't sure whether to have him from London or Germany. I just know that I wanted John to be from a completely different culture and background to Sam, because of him saying I didn't understand, because their cultures are so different. But I wanted to have that Celtic Gaul connection. But their cultures being so different that he assumed one thing, but it was something completely different because of the fact he didn't understand her culture and, the folklores and mythologies of her culture. So it's actually the guy at the newspaper who says to him, what does he say? Oh, she's probably a succubus, putting ideas in his head, trying to cause trouble on purpose, doing it on purpose. He did it because, like, when he realised that John was in love with Sam, and that once John and Sam got together, they were going to break the ancestral curse between Johann and Abigail, Johann being John's ancestor, Abigail being Sam's, and it was Johann who was responsible for the hanging of Abigail during the witch trials. They were in love, and he let her be. He didn't defend her. He let her be executed. Abigail was tried as a witch, and before she died, she put a curse on the women of her bloodline to protect them from ever falling in love, in case the man hurts her heart, sort of thing. So, like, a curse was put on the bloodline so that the women in her family would be spared from the heartache of being betrayed by the man they loved. But Sam's mother and grandmother and great grandmother were given offerings by the animals before they got married, before they married their husbands. The offerings came from the fairies, and the fairies made offerings and got the animals to take them to Sam's mother, grandmother, and great grandmother, that they all turned into individual pieces of jewellery to wear on their wedding day as talismans that then got handed down to their firstborn daughters. And the box that he presents her at the end, that John gives Sam, that he made before he got banished, is to keep the jewellery in. And then she stores the jewellery in it, including, like, her jewellery, which, she puts it in there, because then at the start of the movie you hear Sam talking and telling the story, and at the end of the movie she's in the rose garden with a teenage girl that's her daughter, and she's handing her the box with the jewellery in it for when she finds her true love. So then it's basically the talismans protecting the women so that they find their true love and stay married to them forever. But she keeps rose seeds in the box with the jewellery, like a little packet of rose seeds to plant roses. And obviously when she marries John at the end, and she's pregnant, she plants the seeds, and a rose bush grows. And then she's standing at the rose bush at the end with her daughter Rose Marie, and because Roisin is Irish for rose, and she's giving Roisin the box and saying, when you fall in love and get married, blah blah blah, and you're pregnant, take one of the seeds from the box and plant the seed, and then give that to your daughter, and to hand it down. So but it's just interesting that a newspaper that is called The Ditch exposed that whole plane thing, which led me to connecting the dots between Miss Venezuela and that plane and Donald Trump, and me talking about the plane and Donald Trump during my Pegasus investigation, and then Amber Marie, my girl, the one that I want to name my daughter after. Amber Marie, Rose Marie. I was going to call her Amber Roisin Marie, but I thought that might be a bit weird to, like, name my daughter after, like, completely after Amber, because then she'd be the Amber Rose Marie, the Amber Rose, which is the name of my Disney princess, Amber Rose, Princess Amber Rose, because I had to do a version of a Disney princess, so that will be Amber Rose, and it was Amber that told me to wake up. So there you go. So I was right about Donald Trump. I was right about Keir Starmer. I was right to investigate that plane during the Bella One thing, and I was right about DP World and its connection to Canada and the UK, and the fact that Canada and the UK are now distancing themselves from DP World after I did that expose on them tells you everything you need to know. Keir Starmer and Mark Carney have been trafficking children using DP World. And the evidence is already there, ready to go. I was right, which is why they've been desperately trying to shut my Instagram and all that down. So, becoming spellbound's just become like a whole, it's a rom-com. And it was, the whole argument started because the guy who ran the newspaper, the editor at the newspaper, remember in Holy War the movie, I was talking about, I don't know whether the guy that helps Ashley is going to work for a newspaper, and then I said, no, I'll make it a TV studio. They'll work for a news thing. There you go. And, yeah, the relationship between the two of them, just like in Becoming Spellbound, gets destroyed because of the one who controls the newspaper, or in Holy War, the one who controls the network, feeding bullshit into his ear that made him turn against the woman he loved. So, but I mean, obviously, it's a story in real life. It's just me. But it's just freaky how when I write it, when I see it and I write it, it ends up coming true in real life. So I was right about everything. So I'll be sure to use that in my lawsuit as well against Donald Trump and Elon Musk and Keir Starmer and Rishi Sunak and Jess Phillips and the NHS and the West Yorkshire Police and Sumo Digital and Christopher Black and Martin Arche and all the rest of them, Santaro, the FBI, big lawsuit, big lawsuit. Instagram, X, so many places to sue. One big fat giant lawsuit. I said to the boys, I won't take any less than 50 million. Well, I'm not going to be taking less than about half a billion now. After all of this, bugger that. I want hundreds of millions. Hundreds of millions. I'm going to make Meta pay. I'm going to make the FBI pay. I'm going to make the Crown Court pay. The NHS. I'm going to go after every single doctor individually. Every single person. Nikki, Ria, Beth, Rocio, Martin, Chris, Katie. Every single one of them is individuals. And every single corporation, because I was right about everything. Because God is never wrong. And I don't care what anyone says, all of those people feeding off the soul of the Queen, she is not what they are trying to make her out to be. All of these paintings and all of these things being dropped was done on purpose. It was all part of the plan to send these emails to each other to implicate the Queen and the royal family. It was all part of the plan to make it look like when they did drop the Epstein files, because the Epstein files weren't dropped by accident. This was all part of the plan to drop the Epstein files, make him look like he's dead, send him off to Israel, then drop the Epstein files and dump a whole lot of people in it just to take down the royal family. It's everything I said. And because remember, I've already done this expose, Jeffrey Epstein believed he was an alien. Elon Musk and Klaus Schwab believe they're aliens. Elon Musk said it on video at Davos, I'm a time-travelling alien from Mars. Well, he ain't going to Mars now, is he? So that goes to prove how nuts he is, because he's not even going to Mars now. Oh, we just realised how far away Mars is. Like now, all of a sudden, like nobody knew until Elon Musk realised how far away Mars is. It's because they're broken, they're running out of money. And they know now, if they don't get off this planet, they're going to be hunted to extinction. Their whole bloodlines will be wiped out. Because now the truth is coming out, people are getting very, very angry and calling for the death penalty, which is everything I said they'd do. I said that between COVID and Epstein, it would be because were using COVID to pull off Project Noah's Ark, and they used COVID to kill the Queen. It was to pull off the perfect plan to wipe out the population, to have the planet to themselves so that they could then have all the money and go to Mars. But now they're all broke and being hunted. So they're just going to go to the moon instead. But Grandfather Moon's like, yeah, no, you're not coming here. So they all think they're aliens. And Jeffrey Epstein, some of his survivors, said that he used mind control so that they would see, like they said that he would shapeshift. They said that he would turn into a reptile alien in front of his eyes, in front of their eyes. And I said it's because they use mind control. You know, Donald Trump's uncle with the direct energy weapon and Nikola Tesla, because that was the whole reason why Nikola Tesla came to help me. I had a dream that's all up on X where Nikola Tesla came to me in a dream and he said, I want to help you, because he said, I had no idea when I invented that weapon what they were going to do with it. So we removed the need for a weapon so that it could never be in the control of bad people. Because I can't be bought. I'm a weapon, but I can't be bought or blackmailed or threatened because they tried. But they use an actual machine based off Nikola Tesla's invention. And he came to me in a dream and he was devastated. And he said, I didn't know that they were going to be using my invention for that. Like, can I help you? And through all of that, I became the direct energy weapon. And I zapped Elon Musk with it the other day. And because I can actually access time, I used that ability to do my investigations. And what did I do when I used that ability to gain access to time to do my investigations? I uncovered Donald Trump with the plane and the whole Pegasus thing, and their admission of taking down the Queen to get to the King and using the Board of Public Opinion to do it. I uncovered the whole DP World connection to Donald Trump, to Keir Starmer, to Mark Carney and human trafficking. And I uncovered the connection between Jeffrey Epstein's Gulfstream airplane, Miss Venezuela, Miss Universe, and Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein, and the Virgin Islands, and Jean-Luc Brunel, and the modelling agency, and the Sugar Daddy Club, and Wayne James, and offshore bank accounts connected to Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and possibly Keir Starmer. And of course, when you're talking about Donald Trump and Brunel and modelling agencies, that always takes you back to Zelensky, who was uncovered in the Epstein files as having supplied victims to the Epstein lot through the modelling agencies, who also just happened to be connected to the rent boys that Keir Starmer was using through the escort agency, who just happened to be Ukrainian models. And I said, are the modelling agencies that these boys are with connected to Donald Trump, because they're connected to Zelensky? So my investigation skills are impeccable. I see things that the law doesn't even know is there. Or if they do, they've been paid to hide it, which was this whole thing that got exposed yesterday that made me so angry. That the police, the British police, have been closing down, shutting down investigations into Keir Starmer and Rishi Sunak in regards to grooming gangs and trafficking kids and their connection to Epstein. I had every right to be angry, and I said effing. I actually said the word effing, not the word that effing stands for, but that's how angry I am. Because nobody knows what I've had to endure. Nobody knows the losses I've taken, the hits I've taken. I started out with so many people claiming to love me, and then they ditched me the second the right price tag came along, the second the right offer came along. I was then left to fend for myself and stand on my own, but so be it, because now I know. At least I know. And I'm just, when I get out of here with my hundreds of millions, I'm going to take my 2 sons, I'm going to set myself up somewhere around the Geneva region, possibly. I've been checking it out, and I'm going to build my skull by myself. I don't want help from anyone other than investors, but I'll only be taking money from people who share the same values as me, who have a high moral standing, who would never dream of shitting on somebody like me to protect their own interests. If you're not proud to stand by my side in full view of the world and say, I know her, I'm in this with her, I'm in love with her, I'm going to marry her, and I'm standing by her side and I don't care who knows it, then I don't want to know you. Because it means you're a coward. You care too much about what other people think. I don't. And I'm not a coward. Because this isn't about me. This is about the children. And when you see these videos and you look at those photos, if you've got children or grandchildren or little sisters and brothers, the next time you look at one, you say to yourself, that could be them. If I don't do anything to stand by Debbie, that could be them. That could be my kid, being tortured, being drowned, being abused, being slaughtered, being raped. So bad it kills them. That could be my kid. That could be my grandkid. That could be my niece or nephew. That could be my little sister or little brother. Thank God it's not. Eh? You need to get down on your knees and thank God that it's not. Those poor babies, those poor little angels, they were sent here to be martyred, to wake the whole friggin' world up. And I'm the only one that's been wide awake this whole time. Everybody else has been sleepy, too busy counting their pennies, too busy counting their gold. Their followers and subscriptions on social media. Like, share and subscribe. Make me famous, make me TikTok famous, make me go viral. Well, I've just got my head down plodding along, tearing down mountains to get to those babies, to save those angels, because they are literal angels. That's what you need to understand. Before a child gets out of their incubation phase, around about the age of 22, they're technically considered angels. The younger you are, the closer you are to God. The younger you are, the closer you are to purity and innocence. The more pure and innocent you are, the more angelic you are. They are literally demons and devils slaughtering, raping, and sacrificing angels. Real angels. They become cherubs when they die, just so you know that. Cherubs are the babies and little kids that are sacrificed by the devils and demons who put their sins onto the pure and innocent, so that when they do their bad things, they think they're not held accountable for it because they pass their sins on to the innocent children and animals. But that's not how it works, because they're all insane and they think that's how it works, but it's not how it works at all. So I'm just spraying the spray because it helps me. Because this is a holy war. And I've been standing on my own because I'm the only one that can reach their frequency. As the white dragon, I'm the only one who can reach the frequency of the pure and innocent. Because I'm the gatekeeper, and I purified myself. I cleansed myself, and I did the work on myself, and I purified so that I could have access to the children. And in doing that, they were the ones, you've seen the videos on my YouTube, they were the ones that would come to me and tell me stuff. But they're killing actual angels, and it's in the Bible. Remember when God sent the 3 angels down and they tried to smash the door down to rape the angels? Google changed it. I've got evidence of it. It's in the Bible that they wanted to have sex with the angels, like they were like animals trying to get to these beautiful angels. It's in the Bible to have sex with them, and they had to be protected. But then Google changed it where they just wanted to talk to the angels. And I showed the comparison, took a screenshot, and I'm like, yeah, that's not what it says in the Bible. Google literally changed the Bible to make it look like the Israelis didn't want to have sex with the angels, they just wanted to talk to them. So they rewrote the Bible, which, as you know, is a sin. God literally says the last part of the Bible, God says, if you change the words of this book, you're going to burn in hell. All the plagues and all the punishments will now come down on you. And what's happening with Microsoft? What's happening with Google? What's happening with Zuckerberg and Bill Gates and Elon Musk and that, and all these people? Do you see Elon Musk is now claiming to be Christian? God's like, yeah, no, you're not. No, got nothing to do with me. You keep away from me. I'm not letting you through my kingdom. How offensive, eh? To be doing all those things to children and making all that money, allowing people to do bad things to children through your boring company, and doing bad things to children and offering people money to promote pedophilia using his AI and all that. And then he turns around and says, oh yeah, I'm a Christian now. I'm not the son of Baphomet anymore. I'm a Christian. God's like, yeah, no, you're not. And everybody's saying, everyone's calling him out on his bullshit. I'm not a Christian, but God loves me. And why does God love me so much? Because I stood up to everyone for the sake of those angels. Because I was the only one brave enough to do it. Because I'm a woman. I'm a real woman. I am what a real woman is supposed to be. I'm everything a real woman is supposed to be. The trouble was I was supposed to have a real man with me as well. But they sold themselves out. They cared too much about what other people thought. They weren't brave enough to stand up and say, I'm in this with Debbie because I love her and we're going to save angels together. Instead, they ran off with the pedophiles and the groomers, and the price tag was just too much to ignore. When the devil gets you to sign a contract, he does it by using your weakness against you. Whatever your weakness is, money, women, fame, power, control, whatever your weakness is, that's what he offers you. And he keeps giving it to you and giving it to you so that you will turn away from the light and away from your conscience. But I refused to sign, and I think I'm pretty much the only person who refused to sign. Because for me, this isn't about me, this is about the children. And nothing and no one stopping me from getting to the children and saving and protecting children and whistleblowing. I've stood up against the CIA, MI5, MI6, the American military, the British military, foreign militaries. I've been spied on, hacked, gang stalked, threatened with deportation every day of my life, been nearly killed 4 times, been forced to live in, well, I won't say poverty, but I should have had my money by it. Well, no, see, I keep saying that, but everything happens in divine timing. Everything happens when it's meant to. It's like God said in my dream the other day, trust the process. And I do trust the process, which is why I tolerate it, which is why I'm patient with it. Because I've always known I was going to win this war. I've always known that I would be triumphant. I just didn't know when it was going to come to an end. But I also knew that when God said, just do everything I say and do everything I do, and I promise when you come out the other side of this, you're not going to be unhappy that it happened. He was right. I trusted him. I've never once worried, no matter what they've threatened me with or thrown in my face or taken off me. I've just kept my head down and kept walking through that fire. Because I've always known when I get to the other end, I will be the winner in it all, and I get to save the children. And then the children will finally be heard. And then I can go to Switzerland and build my foundation and put up my little outdoor arena and put on my musical Night of the Black Sun. As soon as I get to Switzerland, I need to look for musicians. I need to look for programmers and all of that so I can get my dating app made. And I've got a couple of other like little apps in regards to the paranormal that I want made as well. So to keep them busy for a bit. So I'll have my games company up and running. QE2 Games, thank you very much, named after Queen Elizabeth II. Because she's bloody earned it. Her and she's been my partner in crime. So my games company will be named after her because she liked video games. And we will make my dating app, and while that's been made, I will get Night of the Black Sun written. I'll get my composer and my musicians, and we will work this out, and I will finish writing Van to Black, and then while that's all getting worked out, I'll hit the road for my talent show and start looking for all my talent, by which time the school will be getting built. And then we'll put on an outdoor concert for Night of the Black Sun, which was written, even though it's a zombie apocalypse musical, it was written to raise awareness for child sex trafficking, for child trafficking and human trafficking. And with all the rage and anger that's going on in the world at the moment, I don't think, I think my tickets are going to sell pretty fast to that concert. And then I have a plan for the next year where I get other countries in the world, get their kids learning the musical, and then we all repeat the concert the following year around the world, just like Live Aid, but where we all perform the exact same musical at the exact same time in as many countries as I can put the concerts up in. But Switzerland will go first. So that's my plan. That's what I'm going to do. Me and my boys. Just me and my boys. Thank you very much. And I can't wait. I've got it all planned. I'm just in my holding cell. I'm in my bubble. Waiting for the news that it's finally over. And then I can leave. Nothing's going to change my mind about going to Switzerland. So, there we go. So Amber woke me up. And now I know why. God bless her. She looked amazing though. She looked exactly how I remembered her the last time I saw her at my mum's unveiling in New Zealand, 2006. Hadn't seen her for 20 years. I miss her desperately, but she's letting me know she's around. I haven't gone anywhere. That's what she's saying. It's only my body that's gone. So there you go. Right about everything. And now I have a master plan. So I'm going to go and I will speak to you later. Ka kite anō.